I still remember the heater that night. Not the night of the party, not the night everything broke. The night afterward, back in my parents' house, when the world finally went quiet again. The heater rattled in the walls, metal ticking softly, like it was counting time I didn't want to feel passing. It's strange what survives in your memory. Not the screaming, not the sirens, but things like that sound, or the stale smell of beer soaked into a winter jacket hanging by the door. That's where this really starts for me. Not on a balcony, not at a party, but years earlier, before I understood how quickly a life can vanish. I don't remember much from being 5. Most of that time is smeared together, like an old photo left too long in the sun. But I remember him clearly. Kindergarten hallway, sneakers too big for my feet, backpack slipping off one shoulder, parents everywhere, kneeling, hugging their kids like they were sending them into battle. Some children cried softly. One kid didn't. He was sobbing, face red, nose running, mouth stretched wide, like the sound coming out of him might crack the walls. A teacher knelt in front of him, saying gently, "It's okay, buddy. Your mom will be back before you know it." He didn't believe her. I watched him. Not scared, not upset, just curious. Without thinking, I walked over and said, "You want to see my dinosaur?" The crying stopped instantly, like someone flipped a switch. He sniffed, looked at me. "Is it a T-Rex?" "Nah," I said, digging through my bag. "It's got spikes. Spikes are cooler." He thought about that seriously, then nodded. That was it. That was the beginning. His name was Caleb Rohr, mine's I, and from that moment on, our names might as well have been sewn together. We were inseparable through grade school. Caleb was loud, fearless, always pushing things just a little too far. I wasn't innocent. I just didn't have his imagination. If trouble existed, he found it. If he found it, I followed. Teachers called us those two. In 2nd grade, Caleb convinced me it would be hilarious to replace the class hamster's wheel with a Lego launcher he built at home. The hamster flew across the cage like a missile. No one was hurt, but the scream Mrs. Holloway let out still echoes in my head. In the principal's office, she leaned back and said to me, "You're a good kid. Why do you keep getting dragged into this?" Caleb leaned over and whispered, "Because he loves me." I laughed so hard I cried. They tried separating us after that. Different classes, different seats. Didn't matter. We found each other at recess, at lunch, walking home. Kids started calling us the twins, even though we looked nothing alike. By middle school, the chaos turned into sarcasm and dumb jokes. By high school, it mostly faded. Girls appeared. Life widened. We didn't hang out every day anymore, but every Friday night, we met at the football field, sitting on cold metal bleachers, sharing fries, talking trash about everyone we knew. "You ever think we're going to end up boring?" he asked once, staring out at the field. "Nah," I said. "You maybe." He grinned. "Yeah, probably." College split us apart. He went west. I went east. Time zones became excuses. Calls turned into monthly rituals. Him ranting about roommates, me stressing about money and exams. When we came home for holidays, we met at the same all-night diner off Route 9. Same cracked vinyl booths. Same waitress, calling everyone hun. 2 a.m., coffee going cold, talking about everything and nothing. "When we're old," he said once, tapping his mug, "we're going to laugh about how stupid we were." "If we make it that long," I said. He snorted. "Relax. We're indestructible." My last year of college, I brought my fiancée home for Christmas. I wanted Caleb to meet her, to see that version of my life. He texted me the night before. "Party at Ross' place tomorrow. You in? Wouldn't miss it. We'll talk treason." That was our word for anything serious. I tried to get my fiancée to come. She hesitated. Sounds rowdy. It's just old friends, I said. I won't be late. She smiled. Go. You need that. I left around 8:30. Cold air cut through my jacket. Music was already pounding when I pulled into the complex. Red cups everywhere. Laughter spilling into the street. Inside was chaos, the nostalgic kind. Too many people. Too many memories. Not enough space. Caleb spotted me instantly. There he is. He hugged me so hard, he nearly knocked my drink over. Dude, you look old. You look unemployed. Fair. After one of his rambling stories, he slapped my shoulder. Balcony, we need air. The balcony was small, a narrow strip of concrete with a rusted railing, but the night was strangely warm for December. People kept drifting out there to smoke, laugh, escape the noise. Hours slipped by unnoticed. The laughter got louder. Too many people. Let's head back in, I said. I went first, sliding the door shut behind me. And then everything fell. No warning, no cracking sound, no time to understand. Just absence, like gravity suddenly forgot its job. I turned around. The balcony was gone. Where people had been standing, there was open air. Then screaming. I ran to the railing. Below, bodies twisted, bleeding. Someone crying. Someone not moving. Caleb. I shouted. No answer. I don't remember getting downstairs. Suddenly I was there, knees slipping on blood-slick concrete. Someone grabbed my arm. Don't move them. I'm finding my friend. We pulled people aside. Groans, whimpers, silence. Then I saw his face. Bloodied. Still. Hey, I whispered, shaking him. Don't do this. His pulse was there. Weak, but there. Sirens tore through the night. I rode in the ambulance, holding his hand. Telling stupid stories like he could hear me. At the hospital, time blurred. Families cried. Doctors spoke carefully. Just before dawn, a nurse pulled me aside. I'm so sorry. 6 people died that night. 18 lived with scars they'll never lose. 17 years have passed. Sometimes we meet. Sometimes we remember. And sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I imagine him somewhere else. Laughing. Causing trouble. Waiting. I hope I get to sit beside him again someday. I can't think of a better eternity. The first thing I remember isn't a face, it's the smell. Hot asphalt baking under streetlights. Old weed drifting through cracked windows. Cheap cologne colliding with fryer grease from the corner chicken spot that stayed open until 2 in the morning. Sirens were so common they stopped meaning anything. Just another layer of noise, like insects buzzing in the dark. Where I grew up, you learned rules early. Don't stare, don't flinch, don't run. Fear wasn't something you showed. Fear was something you swallowed. I was a skinny kid, pale, quiet, always aware of how little space I took up, and it was never enough. The block didn't care that I kept my head down or avoided trouble. Being different was enough. Being weak was enough. By 13, I knew what lockers felt like against my spine. I knew the panic of realizing your shoes were gone. I knew the sound of laughter trailing behind me on the walk home. I knew my own heartbeat when older guys decided they were bored. I learned how to apologize for things I didn't do. I learned how to disappear. Then, just after my 15th birthday, something shifted. Not all at once, quietly. More food, more time lifting weights in my friend's garage. Protein powder paid for with scrap metal money. My shoulders widened. My arms filled out. My face hardened into someone I barely recognized. People noticed. At first, it felt incredible. For the first time, people moved when I passed. Guys who used to shove me laughed nervously, slapped my back, called me bro. The fear that once owned me, I saw it now in their eyes. And I let it go straight to my head. I wish I could say I fought it. I didn't. I leaned into it. I became what I used to hate. Fighting stopped being something I feared and became something I used. If I sensed fear in someone, I pushed until they broke. I wanted them to swing first, wanted the excuse. Looking back, I wasn't strong. I was angry. And even fake power is intoxicating when you've been powerless your whole life. By 19, my reputation arrived before I did. People knew my name, knew not to spill drinks near me, not to stare at my girl, not to laugh too loud. That's who I was when the night finally found me. Late fall, cold enough to sting. Homecoming weekend, half the town drunk by sunset. Parties everywhere, basements, fields, hotel rooms off the highway. Me and a couple guys, Cal Rooker and Jace Nolan, started at a cheap hotel near the strip mall. Music blasting through blown speakers, floors sticky with beer. Someone had already thrown up in the sink. By 11:30, we were buzzed, loud, untouchable. Then someone said there was a bigger party out by Ridgewood. Big house, keg, no cops. That was enough. The house belonged to my girlfriend's cousin. Huge place on the edge of town where street lights faded and trees closed in. No parents, nobody cared. Cars lined the road. Music hit my chest before my feet hit the ground. Red cups everywhere. Someone on the porch charging $5 for drinks. I handed him the money without thinking. We ended up near the edge of the yard, sitting on a truck tailgate. I was halfway through my second drink when a tall guy I didn't know bumped into Cal. Beer spilled down Cal's jacket. "What the hell, man?" Cal snapped. "My bad, bro," the guy said, hands up. I didn't let him finish. I was on him, shoving him hard enough to knock him down. He looked up at me, fear flashing across his face, and something ugly woke up inside me. I said things meant to hurt, things I won't repeat. I wanted him to swing. Instead, he scrambled up. "Whatever, man, I'm getting my boys." I laughed, actually laughed. "Go get him." I turned my back on him like he didn't exist anymore. An hour passed. Maybe more. Music blurred. Conversations melted together. My buzz turned heavy and confident. Then the world exploded. A fist slammed into the back of my head. I staggered. Another punch caught my side and dropped me to my knees. Rage surged so fast, it scared me. I was about to stand when something cold pressed against my forehead. Metal. I froze. A pistol, close enough to see scratches in the slide. I followed the arm holding it to his face. The same guy, now flanked by men, not boys. Men with hard eyes and no hesitation. The music stopped. The yard went silent. He chuckled, soft, ugly, repeated my insults back to me, slowly, savoring each word. I nodded, swallowed everything. He asked me something. I didn't answer fast enough. Click. The hammer pulled back. "I am," I shouted, panic ripping through me. "I am whatever you said." The yard erupted in laughter. They pointed, doubled over, mocked me. He lowered the gun, disengaged it like it was nothing. "You ain't worth it." They walked away laughing. I collapsed. I don't know how long I stayed there. When I finally looked up, the yard was empty, like I'd never existed. I walked 5 miles home in the cold. No one called the next day. That told me everything. I disappeared for 9 months, moved cities, buried who I'd been. 7 years later, I found someone else who almost went the same way. Together, we built something better, working with kids who looked just like I did. every scared glance, every angry outburst. I remember that night, on my knees, staring down a gun. If you're on that road, hear this. It's not too late. Ask for help. Turn around. Don't wait for fear to teach you what shame couldn't. I never want another kid to learn it the way I did. I remember the smell of that apartment more clearly than my graduation day. Old carpet soaked in years of footsteps. Stale beer clinging to the air. Microwave burritos burned just enough to smell like regret. The place sat above a pawn shop on Holloway Street, one of those blocks people pretended didn't exist. Sirens passed through nightly, so common they stopped registering. The street light outside our window flickered like it was deciding whether to die. That was home. I was 23 and exhausted in a way sleep couldn't touch. People talk about losing direction like it's sudden. One bad choice and everything collapses. For me, it happened quietly. I stopped planning, stopped caring, stopped imagining myself anywhere else. A framed degree hung on the wall, untouched. My future became something I avoided thinking about. My roommate, Lennox Hale, didn't mind any of it. We met freshman year at Northbridge College, randomly paired in a dorm barely big enough for 2 beds and a broken fan. She had purple streaks in her hair back then, and a laugh that echoed down hallways. I was shy, awkward, always trying too hard. Somehow, we worked. By senior year, we were inseparable. When I moved off campus after graduation, Lennox came with me without even asking about rent. "You breathe, I drink," she said. "Seems fair." Lennox had a reputation. Not sloppy, not messy, legendary. Guys would hear about her and laugh it off. No way someone that small could keep up. She loved proving them wrong. Every weekend, someone tried to outdrink her. Every weekend, someone failed. I watched men twice her size fold over sinks, vomit into bushes, pass out on couches, while Lennox stood steady, glass still in hand. I admired her confidence. I feared what it cost her. Friday nights always followed the same script. Music low, sun sinking behind buildings. Lennox perched on the counter, twisting open a bottle she definitely shouldn't have been opening yet. "You ready?" she'd ask. For what? For forgetting the whole damn week. She worked nights at a bar called Blue Lantern, the kind of place where the floor stuck to your shoes and the bartender remembered your worst nights better than you did. I bounced between temp jobs, warehouse shifts, overnight stalking. We lived for weekends because weekdays felt meaningless. The night everything cracked started like any other. A coworker named Bryce invited me to his birthday party. Rented house past the freeway near abandoned farmland. No neighbors, no street lights. Perfect for bad decisions. Lennox was already dressed when I told her. "Party?" she asked. "County Road 11. She smirked. "Sounds dangerous." "I'm in." The house was alive when we arrived. Bass shaking the walls, cars lining the dirt road, fire pit glowing out back, sparks rising into the dark. Inside, the air was thick. Beer, sweat, cheap cologne. Lennox disappeared into the crowd like she belonged there. Red cup, another. A shot someone handed her without asking. Around midnight, a guy named Tucker noticed her. Big shoulders, backwards cap, confidence loud enough to fill the room. "I hear you're the legend," he said. "You hear right," she replied. They turned it into a show. Cups, shots, chanting, phones out. I watched her face instead of the drinks. At first, she looked fine, smiling, relaxed. Then something shifted. Color drained from her skin. Sweat gathered at her hairline. Her smile faded. "You okay?" I whispered. She shot me a warning look. Don't start. I'm fine. Another shot. Another cheer. 10 minutes later, she pressed a hand to her stomach and leaned against the counter. This wasn't drunk. I knew drunk. Lennox, I said quietly, let's go, please. She opened her mouth to snap back and collapsed. Not a stumble, not a sway. She just dropped. The room went silent for half a second. Then nervous laughter crept in. She good? Someone asked. No, I said, already kneeling. She's not. Her skin was clammy, breathing shallow. Fear hit me like ice water. Help me, I said. Please. They carried her to my car. I drove like my foot was on fire, ignoring speed limits, begging traffic lights to turn green. At the hospital, they took her immediately. I sat alone in the waiting room, hands shaking, staring at a vending machine that hummed too loud. Time stretched until it felt unreal. Around 1 in the morning, a doctor sat across from me. We're stabilizing her, he said carefully, but there's severe liver damage. She's 24, I said. Sometimes age doesn't matter. When I finally saw her, Lennox tried to joke. Guess I lost, she said weakly. You almost died. She shrugged. I'll be fine. She wasn't. I knew it then. The doctor came back later. Tired eyes, steady voice. You have advanced cirrhosis. Your liver is failing. She laughed once. Sharp, defensive. Wrong chart, man. He didn't smile. Another episode like last night could kill you. You need to stop drinking completely. She nodded, like she was agreeing with directions she wouldn't follow. Outside, the sun was blinding. Let's get breakfast, she said. I'm starving. Did you hear anything he said? I heard I need to take it easy. The rules kept changing. No liquor, then beer only, then wine, then just weekends. Watching her felt like watching myself on fast forward. One night, after she stumbled in from Blue Lantern, I said it. I can't do this anymore. She froze. So you're better than me now? No, I said. I'm scared. She laughed bitterly. Then don't watch, so I stopped. I moved out 3 weeks later. 2 years passed. Then my phone rang. Are you Lennox Hale's emergency contact? The funeral home smelled like flowers and disinfectant. Lennox lay still, makeup hiding what alcohol had taken long before death ever arrived. 26 years old. I tried. I whispered. Grief came in waves. Grocery aisles. Empty weekends. Songs she used to scream sing in the car. But something else grew with it. Clarity. I stopped drinking. Started running early mornings when the city was quiet. Volunteered at a high school helping kids with learning disabilities. You ever think about teaching? The principal asked. I laughed. Turns out, yes. 5 years later, a student stayed after class. Were you always like this? She asked. No, I said, softly. I was pretty lost. When you've got too much empty time, I told her, trouble fills it. I still think about Lennox. Not with guilt, with gratitude. She showed me where the road ended, so I could turn around. I didn't save her, but her story saved me. And every day, I choose differently.